Hi, this is Greg, Lionquestfitness. The gun from decades past. Actually, I call this the ghost of decades past. Smith & Wesson Hand Ejector. Okay, this is the predecessor of the Model 10. Very much like the Model 10 with a few exceptions. Now, this one was made in 1950. We're going to talk a little bit more about that. These are good shooters. In fact, I did not realize how accurate these pencil barrel, what they used to call standard barrel, pre-model 10s were till I actually got one. So I was used to the full barrel. Anyway, in a pinch, shooting fast, shooting while moving, shooting while crouching, I think it does an admirable job at 7 yards. So we went from 2 and 2, and then from kneeling, I was aiming more in this area. So once again, first kneeling shots, 1-1, reload, 2-2. All right. It's a little bit harder than it looks to be able to move, shoot, go to different shooting positions. Now, obviously, you can't practice like this on most ranges, but you can practice this at home with an unloaded gun and with snap caps. In fact, you don't even have to pull the trigger. Just get your aim point and visualize squeezing that trigger. All right. Anyway, let's talk a little bit about the history of this gun from decades past. Now, I'm carrying the gun in this beautiful Mark Thomas holster that he made for me. I like this holster a lot. It's actually very comfortable. But the holster this gun came in was this holster. Now, I've got Altamont grips on this gun because it did not have the original grips. It came with quite a few pair of grips, and some of them actually competition style grips, some of the cheaper plastic and rubber grips from probably about the 1970s. But these Altamont grips set this gun off very, very well. Now, this is what I would call a Jordan style holster, not necessarily a Jordan holster because this is a straight drop, but this is the style of holster that was very popular for police handguns in the 1950s, 1960s, and 1970s. In fact, I prefer this style of holster, mid-rise, straight drop, so-called suicide strap. And one of the things about this holster, very faint, you have a 3-15-54. This holster was made in 1954. And I'm pretty sure this was carried by a police officer. Most police officers here in the rural South during the 50s, 60s, and 70s supplied their own handgun. As you can tell, this gun has a lot of holster wear. I mean, this has been carried outside in the elements, and it has markings here on the top strap and here where it was drawn in and out of a holster quite frequently. So I tend to believe that this gun belonged to a law enforcement officer from some time in that time period who also got involved in competitive shooting. Next video, I'm going to do some distance shooting with this gun just to show you how accurate these guns were. And I also have a very good story about a police officer from that era, how he shot an axe out of a man's hand. But that'll be for the second part of this video. And this is Greg with Lionquest Fitness.